I'm here with my guys in the building to talk about Daredevil, Born Again, season finale. What's going on, fellas? What's going on?
What's up?
All right,
Hello.
I
so
knew the episode would get like this.
well, to start off, my cousin has something he definitely wants to say to you, Bundle. You can go ahead now, cuz, as you said you were going to do.
I owe you apology, Bundle.
No one owes Bundle an apology, but I understand.
The episode that you said was coming, it finally arrived.
Just gotta give it
So
some time. Just gotta give it some time. I knew it was gonna be here, but it's understandable to think that they were BSing the way that they were. But I knew the budget would kick in eventually.
All right, well, cuz, kind of give me like a brief overview on your thoughts on the episode.
okay, I thought the episode was the episode that we was all waiting for, um, and I gave my apology to Bundle, but I do feel like in a way that this episode was also the episode that it felt like this should have been the first episode. So it gave me a feeling that the series was just it gave me the feeling that the series was just getting started with this episode. The way that we kind of wanted to go with more action and all this and that, but it kind of feels like a series that it was saving a lot on the budget, and they were waiting for this. And maybe they had to do this because Disney they haven't been people haven't been really watching Disney Marvel shows like that. So it could have been a reason why they were saving a lot for the last episode too as well. So that's what I got to say.
Okay, okay. All right, let's go with SSJ. What's your overview of the season finale, episode 9?
I'll go last. One of y'all
Oh,
go next.
Sir Banderuski, what's your overview of the season finale?
I liked it. It's what I expected. It gave us a lot of shock and awe. I'll save my gripes for the more detailed conversation later on. But my only issues would be the slow pacing of the show, and and the reshoots earlier on in the season. But outside of that, this episode was what I expected. Heavily, heavily in the action, a lot of gore, a lot of action and gore that we did not see in the Netflix series, especially with the Punisher. And I believe it left on an interesting cliffhanger that left a lot of things open to interpretation, and they can go a lot of different ways with it. I can't say too many wrong things, but I give it about an 8.5 out of 10. I liked the episode. It was solid to me. So I'll save my gripes a little later, but good episode.
Okay. Well, SSJ, the floor is yours.
So I thought it. So I do have a lot of thoughts, but if we're just speaking on just this episode alone, it was solid. It was serviceable, but there were some weird editing choices and story moments that were in this episode. The action was pretty good though, like everybody had mentioned, but that was to be expected. Um, yeah, those are my thoughts so far. I'll go into detail later.
So yeah, I personally definitely thought this episode was the best episode
Yep.
of the series. I believe if I were to go with three of the episodes of the 9 episodes, I'd go with this episode,
Mm-hmm.
episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'd probably go the episode that led to, I think, the whole White Tiger dying and his trial. I think those were epic moments of this episode.
Completely agree.
So as an overview of the series, I'm gonna make it real quick so I'm not like overwinded. Um, I know everybody's really excited about getting a lot of action out of this series, but if you take a moment and reflect actually what all happened in this entire season, a lot of stuff happened, and it went by really fast for you to actually realize it. But I mean, I'll get to that a little later. But we're going to get actually into this episode, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go straight to Bundle on what are your thoughts on Vanessa's basically on Vanessa manipulating every man she holds a almost holds a conversation with since season 3 of Daredevil and including this season of Born Again.
Um. Okay, I didn't even think about Vanessa for this episode, but okay, my thoughts on her. Um. She's not really in the controlling position anymore now that Kingpin has made Wilson Fisk has made it known that I'm not the mayor anymore. I'm the kingpin, and I'm just acting as the mayor. He doesn't even wear the old suits that he was wearing. He finally has donned his white suits and all that stuff, and he's basically is shown her this has been a long game. Like I needed the chaos to reign. I needed you to be in the dark for a little bit. You know, now I became mayor. You understand what I'm doing with the Red Hook Brooklyn project, and you are going to be in the position that you are in again and Fisk is still the head of it. You know what I mean? But he's had those episodes with her. You know, obviously with therapy, um, showing her what he did with old guy Adam, her shooting Adam, her coming to terms with that, and then him letting her know that I have plans for Red Hook and all that stuff like that, and still wanting you to not just make millions but make billions. And so I don't really look at it as her still like controlling every man that she comes across anymore, even though she was doing it like you said since season 3. This is now just a transition of power where it looked like she would go against him because he was taking that power from her, and now she sees that okay, this is the end game of your goal. So it's just as far as your Vanessa question, instead of getting too detailed into anything else, I don't look at her in that aspect anymore. I think now she's a role player. I'm getting along with it, and to be the queen, I got to get along with the kingpin. So I don't look at her in the position of being over anybody anymore. um, Kingpin is now the mayor, and he's now Kingpin as he was before. So I don't really know if that answers your question on her, but yeah, that's how I look at her now. Um, yeah,
Okay,
that's kind of it. Yeah.
okay, I got you. Cuz, what's your thoughts on this season and Vanessa
As far as yeah,
kind of
Vanessa goes,
kind
yeah.
of manipulating everything that's transpired in this entire season?
Okay, it is my turn. Vanessa sexy. She's real sexy. No, I was playing.
She's seasoned.
Y'all crazy. She's
She
she's
used to look
seasoned.
all right, but she's seasoned and old now.
Yeah, that was 11, 12 years ago, and the very first time we saw this. So hey, things happen.
Yeah, I'm just keeping it real.
Yeah. I hear
What
you.
up,
uh,
Upward? Upward says I like that too. Vanessa needed to take a seat for sure. Go ahead, cuz.
Yeah,
My
I
fault for
agree
yeah.
with
interrupting.
Upper.
Yeah, definitely need to take a seat.
I was just being funny and upsetting my wife now. But um, Vanessa, I found to be just as, I guess, quote unquote evil as the Kingpin can be, and I thought it was a pretty cool dynamic to showcase between the two of them. Because in a way, I believe that the Netflix series wouldn't really let her shine like this. Maybe they would have had her do some type of evil stuff, but they wouldn't have her take the lead like this. But Disney likes to put women in the forefront and likes to take their women characters and elevate them. But in this case, I didn't feel like that was too bad because even in the Netflix series, you can kind of see her trending into the direction that Disney eventually took her to. So I have no problems with it. Yes, it is feminist propaganda, but in this specific case, I do believe that the feminist propaganda does make sense. But I'm curious to see what SSJ's thoughts is on that. So we can move on to him.
We're gonna have a lot to talk about that feminist
Yeah.
agenda with
So
Fantastic Four, but I digress.
no, we're not talking about Fantastic Four. This is just Daredevil. But yeah, 1000% feminist agenda with Vanessa. I don't know if some people were saying, like people online saying like, oh, well, she's great in this and she shines way more than she does than the Netflix series. Yeah, because we see more of her doing a lot of the things that Kingpin should have been doing. As a matter of fact, there's times where I wanted to call Kingpin the Queen Pin, because a lot of the things that she was doing were things that Kingpin 100% should have been doing, like the Red Hook, whatever thing or whatever, swindling money. There's just a whole getting Foggy killed. Like, there's no way that somebody like Kingpin would absolutely, hold up on a promise, even if this wasn't connected, or if it is, but we know that it is connected to the Netflix universe. There's no way that he would hold up to that promise, because he's just evil like that. We know that he's just evil. So the fact that Vanessa was the one that was pulling the strings, and we saw the scene in this episode where she has all this power and control over Bullseye because she was the one that pulled strings to get him out of jail. 1000% feminist agenda. I hated this character and she did not need to be here. I think she should have been killed off, actually, in the previous episode by Bullseye.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get to that.
But no, that's it. That's it.
I agreed that because remember I was one of the ones saying I said 100% she's dying. Like 3 or 4 episodes ago, I was just like I thought she was dying. And whilst I agree with everything that you are saying agenda wise, they make it make sense why they did it that way. And because I understand how it makes sense,
but they're trying to get people used to that. Like, okay, we're gonna only sprinkle a little bit of that in there, so then people will get used to it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
boom, here you go, full on.
They have been doing that. They have been doing that.
Like
but like the end game of it though, Kingpin is still Kingpin. She's still a part of his ish. It started out to show that because
felt like Queen Pin.
Yeah, you were right at some points at the time, but now that the final episode has happened, you understand that, oh no, he is Kingpin. He is still doing it. Not just down to the white suit. All the billionaires that were against him that control the city, he's got them in cages. You know what I'm saying? I killed the police commissioner in front of all of you and the police. I went ahead and took over the city, state, senate, stuff like that, and showed you guys while using, Gandolfini's character, that like, hey, I got dirt on all of you. You guys will vote in my reform. You guys will vote in my initiative. You will put my street safe initiative apart then with my task force. I am running Red Hook as a personal militia. You can't tax anything here, and anything that is now going.
Running it.
Yes, but he's at the head of it, though. You're running it as the dirty operation while I'm the clean head. I must be the mayor.
Yeah, but she did it much better than he did. And a lot of the lackeys said it to him.
And that's why I said
times.
I agree with you. That's why I said I agree with you what they're doing as far as pushing her way more than what she is in the comic book. But even while pushing her, now that we've seen the last episode, it doesn't take away from Kingpin, because at the end of the series, he's still the sadistic Kingpin that we now know. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, she can run that little Red Hook district out of Brooklyn. You still run New York. You're still this. You still now lock down the whole city. You declared martial law. You now put the super, heroes initiative, in place. You now have your own militia. You now are cracking down on this. You have so it's like, it gave Vanessa power that we never seen before. But in the last episode, it showed this city is now Kingpins. We now need to see what Doctor Strange and everyone else is
because he would become mayor. We knew he would take over.
We knew that, but we see how he does it now.
I got you. But now I'm going to interject now, because I will say, Bundle, Kingpin is mayor and he still has his radical ideologies. But now with these plot twists, we're also going to watch Kingpin we're going to see the betrayal of Kingpin. He's going to get betrayed by Vanessa. As the audience, we're seeing this man. In all actuality, if you have any recollection of his history,
We've already seen him like betrayed twice.
I don't know if this is a kitchen dash of emasculinity, being emasculated, but he's not. He doesn't appear as powerful with Vanessa being able to hire Bullseye and do this behind his back, and I know that this woman is playing you all along.
But you guys are also forgetting that while she hired him, he wasn't there. He was doing the whole shit that he was doing. The whole stuff that he was doing. That. I know, but he wasn't even there. So
he was off doing the tax.
He was there. He was doing
mafia
stuff with the tracksuit mafia, Echo. He was in the Hawkeye series, getting shot in the head, recovering for 9 months, getting snapped away.
It's a good thing you mentioned that too, because those previous properties put a stain on this Kingpin. So because of how poorly he was treated there, it still kind of doesn't really make me that excited for this Kingpin, despite the fact that he's more violent here and we see the true Kingpin nature.
I'm still excited.
You still see the violence, but with respect with what they had to deal with, writings, reshoots, and that they have to go ahead and take in consideration other IPs that are filming without the thought of, hey, well, how's this going to impact Daredevil? How's this going to impact the sophisticated, cruel nature of his criminology? Like, you know what I mean? They're not taking that in consideration. It's like, oh, that's the story we're in. Okay, so now we got to go ahead and base off of that. Yeah, you got to do better.
Especially if this is an IP that people really love, that y'all canceled back in 2015 to bring back. Like, they should have did way better with this.
That was 10 years ago.
Way better.
So it's a whole nother market. So it's like, given what we do have, and we're also forgetting one of the biggest things of why she took over. Wilson was snapped. He went away for 5 years. And this is still part of the MCU. And that's actually one of the main... People just say, oh, he went away because he got shot and blah, 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 blah. No, the original reason why it happened was, because he had to go to prison to save Vanessa's name, and then was snapped immediately after Daredevil Season 3. Then came back and did the stuff with Echo and stuff. So Vanessa had to really hold it down. So while they painted,
but we don't really know the time placement. They just say he was snapped, but we don't know if it was actually in that time frame that you just stated. We just know that he was snapped at some point after. We do know is because they stated it in Hawkeye. No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
Actually,
they did because they gave
just made a reference to it. They didn't actually give a date or a year.
This year, we know.
I just saw the episode yesterday.
I know, but we know the year that Daredevil's taking place is 2027. We also understand that the year that what happens in Kate Bishop with the "I could do this all day," the Captain America musical was Christmas 2025.
Christmas 2025.
Yes, so we know what year it is. We understand.
Yeah, I already know.
So then that kills.
But that was not actually explained what you just said, though.
How is it not explained if we just?
But what was the next topic, Jay Leno?
Well, I get the next topic, but you can't say it's not explained if you just said it.
All right. Moving on to the next topic.
Clearly, it's explained.
I guess
it wasn't explained.
It is.
He just says like, "Oh yeah, I was snapped away," but he doesn't tell you the actual year. What you're saying is just speculation based on outside sources.
You understood it. You said you understood it.
All right,
you know it's happening in 2027. That's an explanation.
Let's just move on to the next topic.
That's the point.
All right, so next topic. So if I'm going to start off with you, SSJ. If Foggy is alive, will that be the conclusion to the final season of the Daredevil series, assuming this newfound evidence that Foggy had gathered against Vanessa?
Well, what's your question?
Well, I'm surprised that they didn't reveal Foggy to be alive.
The question was would that be the conclusion? So to catch Vanessa.
Clearly, that's not the conclusion because we already caught Vanessa.
Yeah, it's not the conclusion.
So
but what was your other question about Foggy being alive, though? You had mentioned something.
Okay, so we had a conspiracy theory of Foggy possibly being alive.
That's in the comics, so yeah, we understand. But he's not.
Comics,
so with them going in a warehouse and finding out evidence, could that possibly be in the final episode of Foggy returning? They have all of this evidence, maybe an actual witness.
No.
To use that evidence in the courtroom to lock up Vanessa or Kingpin.
Yeah.
It's possible.
It's possible. Okay.
It's possible because why were they in there looking for evidence? What was the evidence for that they were looking for?
You can't
They'll probably
incriminate
explain
her,
it.
but you said
They'll
it
probably
in the
explain
way
it.
that like Foggy would still be alive to do this. He's not gonna still be alive. He's dead. He's dead. Foggy's confirmed dead. The actor confirmed he's dead. Now they can bring him back, like we said before earlier in a few seasons. Like, hey, well, we
Like
can
a
see
cut
that
scene
him
or something.
being like not a cut scene or being like a person that talks to him in his head and blah blah blah, and being like the the voice, whatever like this. But I remember when we had that video, and then I've seen more interviews and people talking
But hold
about
on,
it. And
hold on.
directors, they were like, "Oh,
Just,
Foggy's dead."
just to be fair, Bundle, I did ask SSJ unless he was done.
But I know, but your
Answering my
question was if he said like they've
Yeah,
already
but my
confirmed
first
he's dead.
question was to ask SSJ for his opinion. I don't know if he was done giving his opinion. He was the first person I asked that to.
I mean, he said, "Go ahead."
Did you? I didn't
Yeah,
know.
but
See,
yeah, I was done with my point. I was just saying,
Okay,
like,
well,
yeah, I
whatever.
think it's possible that because you never know. But he did say that I guess he's confirmed to still be dead, and if that's the case,
Yeah,
that's
they did.
trash. But you
Okay,
know,
my
They
fault
did.
then, Bundle,
They
for
did.
interrupting you. Go ahead.
No, you're
go
right.
ahead.
I just heard what he said, but yeah, unfortunately that was already something that was confirmed because that was something we um, played with the idea with in the first like 2-3 episodes. We're like, we know because Foggy faked his death and he became this and an informant, blah blah, and he finds him later on, and he's already been confirmed for season 2 that comes out in less than 11 months. So could it be? And then I said that I was like, oh, he could be, the voice that talks to him and there's something in his head, blah blah blah. And then like 2 weeks later, after that, they spoke to the Foggy Nelson, whatever like that, and he's like, yeah, my character is dead, but then didn't give any other speculation on what he was doing later on.
Unless
So
he's lying, like
that,
Andrew
that, that,
Garfield
was
and
my
them, how they were
very
like,
next
"Oh, we're not
point.
in Spider-Man," but
Unless
then
he's
they were.
lying. Because
So
James
that's my only
Garfield
thing.
did that with Spider-Man. Like, I don't know what y'all talking about. And he was the first variant of Spider-Man introduced. So it's the MCU. So
You
everything
mean
is
the
up for
MCU?
it. MCU. So
You mean the
whatever they
MCU?
up for, no, I don't. But whatever it's up for it,
So,
we'll see.
how about yourself, Derek? Did you have anything to elaborate with the question of Foggy
Derek's
returning, or
cracking up over there.
anything, or could that anything that you could speculate that this newfound evidence that'll be included in the final season of Daredevil?
Well, could I say one thing though?
Oh,
Oh, actually, no. I'll wait for the details. Never mind.
okay.
Butter waiting to speak makes me feel irrelevant.
Oh no. I'll say this real quick. What I had to say has nothing to do with what he's asking you at all.
Oh, okay.
At all.
Oh,
At all. I promise.
Um, I have no thoughts on Foggy Nelson because he's dead. So I think that whatever he's going to be in episode 3 will be flashbacks, unless they have some kind of Lazarus pit in the Daredevil storyline that I don't know about.
The Hand, but that's no more. As of Defenders.
I do want to backtrack though.
You going deep into it, good sir.
I do kind of want to backtrack because I see what Bondo is saying about Kingpin, and I also see what SSJ is talking about Kingpin.
You mean Queen?
Kingpin does get his moment to shine in the last episode.
You mean her moment to shine?
Yeah, but what SSJ is talking about is that she was shining all throughout the whole entire series, whereas Kingpin was kind of like in this mode of you don't know what is he going to be Wilson Fisk, is he going to be the Kingpin type of deal. I do feel like it all tied in together, but we in a way, yes, we should have gotten more of this throughout the series. It seems like this was a series where they were trying to save money. And at the same time, it's kind of like, well, why are you trying to save money for Disney? Like, give us more. And I don't know if I'm just getting to the point where I've been so disappointed, I've been so defeated, to where I'm just finally happy that at least they gave us an episode. So maybe I'm just getting beat up to this point, to where now I'm starting to accept less.
Yeah, that's what a lot of folks are doing. They're accepting less. And I always tell people, like, the old MCU wasn't perfect, but it was pretty good. The Infinity War saga ended pretty, like, really great with Endgame. And people keep saying stupid things like, oh, well, people want the cream of the crop. It's not that we want the cream of the crop. We want decent stories, storytelling that's good, and characters that aren't, you know, disrespected for agenda. We don't want things pushed into the story that we don't want. Like, we want good storytelling and good characters people actually want to see. People don't want to see like characters like Mrs. Marvel and Captain Marvel and Shang-Chi. Like, get out of here with those characters. We should have had Daredevil a long time ago, like back in 2021. But I already know like that's the whole rights thing or whatever, but that's just, some BS.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna move on to our next question. So what do you think? I'm gonna go straight to you, Derek, because what do you think Fist is gonna do if he finds out that Vanessa hired Bullseye?
He knows already.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I thought that he found out in the last
He knew.
series.
That's when they were drinking after the shooting. And he kept telling her, "I know."
He's like,
said
"It's
it again,
okay,
and he's
Vanessa."
like, "It's okay. I know." Then she put
Which
her
is
wine
just a
glass
cut
down and
move.
looked in the air, and it was like, "Oh shit, okay, I can't hide nothing." Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Oh, he cussing.
Damn, first one, my bad. It's like he was like,
Oh,
"Oh
two.
dang," like,
Hey, Bundle, just take your time.
Well, Buttle just took away my turn. Like, he totally is saying what I was
He's been doing that a lot.
Well, no, it's to respect and save your point, though. It's because,
but it's his
making
point.
a point. I know, but you're making a point that's like, I'm so confounded, I'm so confused, and 2 seconds of an answer can change all of that.
But
that's my point. It's like he's about to get.
Derek doesn't need your help to answer his question.
He doesn't need my help, but I'm answering the question because he was confused.
He doesn't need you to answer it.
My point is, he's going to ask a 40-second question. I can give him a 2-second answer that answers it right then and there, and you don't have an issue.
This is what I'm going to start doing.
It's like.
Go ahead. We'll bring him back in here. Derek, what's your question? I mean, could you answer the question?
Yeah, so my thought was that he already knew because Vanessa and Wilson was talking in the room, and it was a situation where it was nonverbal communication because she was struggling to drink the wine. She was looking at him, and then so he knew that she was trying to say something, and so he kind of already figured it out on his own that she hired Bullseye. And so he was just like, well, it's okay, because he really loves her so much that I guess he understood that her doing that was in her way, that she felt like she needed to do that for the times for them to thrive. Because I don't think that he knows that she wouldn't make any decisions that would intentionally hurt him, even though he may not agree with her moves.
So when you had mentioned that that was the conversation that they had when they were dancing in the ballroom in episode 8. Now, as well as Bullseye at the end of the episode 8, attempting to assassinate Kingpin, where Daredevil jumped in front of him.
Yeah.
What has Fist responded to knowing that? Does Fist know that Bullseye was hired? Could possibly be hired by Vanessa even for that, or could we say that Bullseye was on top of, was attempting assassination on his own accord?
He was attempting assassination on his own accord.
Yeah, that was on his own accord because when Vanessa released him, that release was supposed to be a flashback of what happened prior to the night Foggy got killed. Mm-hmm. So she had went to the prison to release him from jail so she could have him kill Foggy, since Foggy knew that information about her doing those, the illegal money swindling stuff. They don't really specify because there's no caption at the bottom. It doesn't say like, oh, on this day or 2020 whatever. Like, there's no caption for us to be able to tell. But after a couple of rewatches, that's when I'm just like, oh, this took place before the night Foggy died. And then he said, okay, it's gonna take me a couple of days to get ready.
I got you. I got you. Sometimes I ask these questions because not everybody like can understand the plot and just kind of explaining and it's still being opinionated at the same time. But that's kind of why I asked that question. Is it? Do you have anything else? Do you want to elaborate as well on that question, SSJ?
Um, nope, I'm good.
Okay. All right. So SSJ, did Bullseye change his mind on? So actually, would you? So did you notice in the prior episode that Bullseye had put his crosshairs over Vanessa first, and then went over to Kingpin?
Yes, yes, I did notice that because maybe that was a reference to season three because I know he did try to go after Vanessa a few times in season three, and there it was to a point that Daredevil had to protect Vanessa from Bullseye during that last fight. So I think maybe because there was the scene where the screen was like kind of like turning blue because he's crazy. His mind was like kind of messed up. So maybe in his mind he was like, oh well, if I kill, take out two birds in one stone or something. I don't know, but he's crazy. So
Could Bullseye be, fellas? Could Bullseye ever be an ally or just somebody that could possibly come back and take out either Fisk or Vanessa at any point in the next season?
I think that would be
Never. He killed
terrible
Foggy.
because he should be straight up evil or a
Mhm.
villain, especially
I
with
mean,
how they wrote him before and him using like in the last episode using his tooth to break out. Like that's evil. So there's no way that somebody that is so willing to use anything to kill somebody with, like anything that he gets his hands on, he can kill you with, and he usually goes for lethal shots too to the head and brutal kills. So somebody like that, I can't see pulling their punches and fighting for justice. He's fighting for his own.
yeah, he's fighting for his own because, like, Bullseye, just because he was trying to take out Kingpin, that doesn't mean that he believes in some sort of justice. He's just trying to take out Kingpin because maybe that's some sort of competition, or he felt like he just did him wrong per se. Because Bullseye's kind of a guy who doesn't really care about the greater good, or even doesn't even believe the greater good. I think I discussed this a couple of weeks ago, where I feel like bad guys are being portrayed nowadays as they basically just
Sympathetic.
see the world. What do you say, SSJ?
Where they're sympathetic.
Not sympathetic, but they see the world for what it is, and they just fully accept it, and so they operate of the world. Whereas superheroes, they kind of live in this fantasy mindset, trying to protect something that's already corrupt. Like you're protecting a corrupt system as if it's good, and then you're picking out. All you're doing is you're picking out the few people that you see are trying to actually work the corrupt system. The superheroes are picking out the few people that see that the system is corrupt, and they try to beat the corrupt system so they can try to get ahead. That's all. That's
Right.
all what a villain's trying to do. They see the corrupt system, and that's why like the Dark Knight was one of the first films that showcased this, because the Joker is like laughing at Batman, like, "What are you protecting? Like, what do you think you're doing?" That's why he like in that scene he's like beating him up, and he's like, "You have absolutely nothing that you can hold against me." It's like he was just laughing at him the whole entire time, and it was showcasing as Joker was crazy, but really it was Batman that was crazy the whole entire time. Joker's the more sane person. He's just so sane that he's laughing at Batman for what he's doing, and Batman's getting irritated because maybe a part of Batman knows that it's true, and that's why Batman was beating him up.
Cause I
Mm.
mean, I really mentioned that because the brief moments we had with Bullseye, especially when he was held captive, and they showed like Vanessa in an earlier time frame within this series, you kind of got into the mind of Bullseye to just not look at him as much of a simple character. And then I just thought it could possibly foreshadow a different take for him. I mean, that's why I brought it up. I don't know. Maybe something surprising could happen. Well, SSJ, what was your thoughts on seeing Karen Page return?
It was cool, but she didn't really do much. And I don't think your cousin will disagree with that either. She really didn't do too much. She came through, picked up Punisher and Daredevil, and took him to a safe house or whatever, patched up Matt, and then she had a very lifeless conversation with Daredevil. Because obviously, if you didn't see the previous seasons, her and Daredevil used to date each other, and you can tell there's a little bit of tension there. And she, like Daredevil, I think Matt Murdock says at one point that, "Oh, I'm glad that you're back," and she kind of just walks away, like being all weird. And that kind of felt like how they write a lot of these female characters nowadays, because I don't think Karen would have previously done that. So she didn't really have much to do, and whenever she was on screen actually having conversations with Matt or Frank Castle, it was just kind of weird. It was like she wasn't really all that happy to see them.
Did you think that they were going to kiss in that scene? That when they were getting all close?
Maybe
Yeah,
not kiss, but at least, like at
some
least
sort of
her
affection.
acknowledge him, or at least embrace him, not just walk away and be like, "Oh, I don't care," or whatever. Like, really?
Yeah. To be honest with you, when she made her at the end of this episode, after she had first appeared again, I was thinking to myself, plot wise, she kind of should have showed up sooner.
Yeah,
I
agree
feel like
with
too
that.
much times had lapsed in her absence. I know she was. I mean, so what it took this from all these episodes and the days that passed in this timeline. It took her that long to get a hold of Punisher. Maybe like I don't know. With Foggy actually dying, I just thought that she would. It would have been more of a sense of urgency for her to make an appearance.
I agree. No
Yeah.
objection.
Yeah, it felt like fan service for the most part. Just having her show up in the last episode, like it was just
That
kind of like
too.
that moment where old fans would be like, "Yeah, it's Karen." I never was the huge Karen fan. To me, she was always the most annoying part of the Netflix series.
I
Um,
agree with that.
yeah, so I didn't really care either way. I mean, I did not miss her at all. Uh, I think Matt Murdock's new girlfriend is 100 times better looking than she is. So he definitely upgraded. Um, but I'm really interested to see what the psychologist is going to do now because uh, she's like all like she's happy to get that validation from the Kingpin since he's the
Mhm.
mayor of him putting her ahead of human counseling or whatever. So she wants that validation, and that kind of reminded me of I don't know if you guys watch like any red pill channels, but they always say don't have your girl work for another man because she can't serve two bosses.
Yeah, I
I
heard
don't know.
about that. I heard about something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Which the ideology does make sense. Like I heard a lot of stories to where like, especially if a girl is a officer, like a police officer, you're in a bad situation because more than likely her boss is going to be a more of an alpha dominant man than the guy that she has at home, more than likely. And I heard multiple stories of like these female officers sleeping with their bosses, and it's easy to get away with because she could just say that well something happened right, or they had a call they had to make, and now she's sucking off the sergeant
Hey,
and
hey, 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 hey. All right, so we'll get back here. Let's wind it back down. So so with do you think there's any possibility that Sheila Rivera was recording Fisk in his office when he was going on his monologue tangent, going into the martial law scene in in this episode, SSJ?
It's possible. The only recording we seen of her was just when she was recording that police
Because she had her
commissioner.
phone in her hand.
Yeah, she had her phone out recording. I don't know if she was recording or if she had Kingpin on call, because you see, this is where I don't like the editing too. They should have had it all in one scene instead of split up in different scenes. You see in a different scene way later where Kingpin is on the phone listening to the commissioner have this conversation about him not trusting the Kingpin, and that was the same conversation that she was listening to, that she was having with him earlier. And if you rewatch that scene, she had her phone kind of hidden. So I think she was on the call with Kingpin and like had it on speakerphone to where he could hear it, to where Kingpin could hear the conversation. But as far as your other question about the martial law speech, it's possible. It's possible that she did.
Because I mean, honestly, guys, I'm just trying to anticipate like all the things that will be dramatic for this next season coming up. I could see that coming back.
I can tell you right now, it's not going to be that dramatic. It's going to be anticlimactic.
Because,
well, so far it's been a lot of reshoots, and I know people will try to make excuses like, oh, well, things had to get switched around. The 18 episodes, this was made a couple of years ago, blah, blah, blah. Still, it could have been better. Things could have been moved around. And what it took to get to this episode, like your cousin said, could have been either the first episode or second episode. Since this episode it felt like it could have been like a premiere or a mid-season premiere episode, since it was the longest episode of this season. It was 60 hours. It was 2 hours long. I actually have it on the background right here on Disney Plus on my ex-girlfriend's account.
Wait, this episode was 2 hours long?
Was it?
Well, 60 minutes, yeah.
No, that's 1 hour.
Or that's 1 hour. My fault. I'm looking at something.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
60 minutes. But it is the longest. It is
the rest of them are like 40 something minutes.
The rest of them are like 50 minutes or a little less than that because of the 8-minute long credits. But this episode, while it was great and it had a great action, there were still some pieces in it that I didn't like, though, that I can tell that they probably will either forget or they'll just drop in favor of something else for the next season, because I can tell they're going to take some things, take notes of, like, especially this episode and the first 2 episodes, they're going to take some things that work, and then they're going to probably leave out the things that didn't work.
Okay. All right. And then, did you guys like how how Matt Murdock used his senses in the doctor's office, hearing those I guess you would call them evil footsteps, to escape the guy from killing him?
The effects weren't that great. It should have been better, because what happens in that scene, so the music starts playing, which doesn't fit at all. I like Roberta Flack and I like her music, but it does not fit for something like Daredevil, especially that particular song, because the killer was getting ready to go after him in the hospital. It should have just been regular dramatic tension music. I didn't like how it just kept on flashing. You see people getting ready to leave their rooms. The cops are the hospital staff is escorting them out. But then out of nowhere, you see Matt leaves.
What's going on?
My fault. I have.
What the hell?
Yeah, I had muted you for interrupting him, but that's my fault. I got you back in here.
Man, all right, whatever.
But you see, everybody's just kind of in the way, but then he kind of slips. I mean, I guess they cut that kind of could have just been like an editing choice they did to kind of show off Matt being sneaky and able to slip by. So if that's the case, then I'll give them a little credit for that. But yeah, that's
so what was Bundle, you still there?
Yeah, man.
I got you. Okay, so what was your thought on like the whole process of like of Matt Murdock like being in the hospital bed and hearing those footsteps? Like, I mean, some people would like to see a display
I missed
of
the question. I'll come back.
Okay, I got you. Basically, the question is when Matt Murdock was in the hospital and he heard those footsteps of the guy that was coming to assassinate him, did you like seeing Daredevil use his heightened senses to escape that room, or was it far-fetched? Or, what was your opinion when you had watched this episode? Okay. All right. How about you, Derek?
Yeah, that went completely over my head. I thought that he was just leaving just for the sake of leaving because he knew that he had to suit up to take on the task force. So I just thought that he just left, and it was just out of sheer luck that the guy didn't arrive on time. So for him hearing the footsteps went completely over my head. So I missed
Um,
that part.
Yeah, he heard those footsteps because he knew it's almost kind of like a spider sense. He knew that there was danger approaching, so he just kind of just got up out of there.
I I
He's
try to
done
always
that
highlight,
more times than we can count in the comic books. That's nothing special.
but
Yeah,
I know when a
yeah,
lot of people make comparisons to the Ben Affleck Daredevil scene, they like the that vision. I don't know what to
terrible,
describe that radar vision, but
terrible.
this is this just like Bundle said, this is something that commonly happens within a Daredevil film. So I mean, with that adaptation put in there, I mean,
You know, Ben
oh,
Affleck recently came out and said, because I guess he's in a movie with John Bernthal, who plays Punisher, that came out recently, and they had asked him, "Oh, what would you think if your Ben Affleck Daredevil went up against the Punisher?" And he's like, "Oh, I think I'd die."
I mean, look, I'm not that big of a fan. Um, so get back to what we really came in. One of the biggest highlights of this was of this episode. I'm gonna start off with you, cuz how excited were you to see Punisher again in this episode?
This was the correct way to introduce him and to use him versus my the first time where I was complaining and I thought that that was a bunch of women writing that scene out.
I
This is
agree.
yeah, this it was like the first episode was like it wasn't even necessary, really. I mean, this was really the only episode that he needed to do, um, and it was. I was so happy that he actually wore the skull too, because there was rumors saying that they weren't going, like he wasn't going to be allowed to wear it. I don't know if you guys heard of that. Like
Yeah,
it
I
was
heard
like,
about that.
Oh no, I didn't.
yeah, go ahead, SSJ. You can elaborate on that.
It had something to do with, like, I guess the Punisher logo being used like in certain groups in real life. So Disney was trying to like switch up the Punisher logo in comics. So then when Punisher was rumored to actually appear in like Daredevil and whenever he was going to come back in the MCU, it was rumored that they weren't even going to use the actual Punisher logo skull, that they were going to switch it to like a new one or something. So luckily they decided against it.
Mhm. Yeah, I thought it was badass. Are you back in there, Bundle?
What up?
So, what was your thoughts on Punisher's return for the season finale?
It was awesome.
Okay. Okay. So, like, when I was I don't know, when they came back, and even like seeing them come back and him kind of saving the day and Paige bringing him back, like, did it kind of feel like a dynamic duo?
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what
it
I mean? It
did.
was kind of like your homie just finally showed up. I don't know. It kind of
Yeah, like the buddy cop, but they argue at the same time because he wants to kill everybody and he doesn't. And
That whole scene was great.
yeah, it was, and then Matt Murdock ended up failing anyway because the whole entire apartment building ended up blowing up, which I was wondering if they was going to do that because that was actually in the Born Again comic books, his place being blown up, and so uh, I believe that in the comic books it was much earlier, but better late than never. So I was wondering if they were going to do that, or not, and they ended up doing it.
Yeah.
It was a nice little place that he had, good view too. Oh well.
I liked pretty much every shot of the action. This is probably the only one of the only few positives you'll hear me give, but I liked how pretty much all of the action was shown because the previous shot, Punisher tells Matt, "Oh, you're gonna fight with your butt hanging out," because he had on the nightgown. But then he goes and switches like a little bit off screen to his Daredevil costume. But as soon as you see the um, as soon as you see the police about to break into his apartment, he's already on the roof and he crashes down like Batman, like that window takedown that Batman does in the Arkham games, and starts whooping those cops. And then here comes Punisher, shoots the guy with a shotgun through the glass, and then shoots him in the stomach. Like the action was really great and well, like I liked it. I've seen the action scene at least 4 different times.
And SSJ took me off guard because I believe that was the first violent scene in that episode. And I was just like, I wasn't expecting much. So I was just kind of like this. I was like, just kind of like in the bed chilling. And then as soon as Punisher like started going wild, I was like, wait, what? They actually did that? Like they're doing this?
Yeah, when
And
he threw that tomahawk at the guy's head and then pulled it out, I was like, yeah!
Told you.
It got bloody. It definitely got bloody.
They surprised us, but
If only someone would have called it weeks before it.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. Bono definitely said, just wait till the final episode. Just give them a chance.
I already gave Bono my apology.
Upward says they saved all the gore for this episode.
well, good action and good acting from Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox still doesn't save mediocre storytelling throughout this season.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean SSJ
Still a solid series, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, what are you
Yeah.
doing, dude? It's still a great series. Right?
Yeah, the whole entire season. I mean, you gotta. Yeah, I agree with
You
you.
can say that about anything. That's opinion. This
okay.
season developed. This season delivered. This is probably the best Disney Plus show that they put out.
Oh, absolutely.
I have no. I'm about to say I have no problems with that.
So
I
if
agree.
so we understand that. Then like, why cast dispersion? Like every gripe is gonna be.
Because I'm gonna tell you, like, that is something that sticks out. All of the
Well, hold on,
criticisms
hold
that
on,
I had
SSJ,
were
let-
comic
stuck
books
out.
even comic books fail. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it's like even the greatest comic book stories, all these are adapted
I'm not saying
from
that
comic
this was
book
a
stories.
failure, but it wasn't this amazing piece of
It
art
was
either.
amazing. It was amazing. What other Disney Plus show is better than this?
So I do have a
They were all
follow-up
bad,
question,
so
fellas.
See, all right,
They were all
that's
bad.
just a nihilist. That's that type of mindset. If you have that mindset, then you really can't like obviously you can, but it's just like, well, then if your opinion is everything,
well, if
is
you're
butt cheeks,
accepting everything, then
you
you're gonna.
You are.
No, you're
Because-
accepting. You're accepting
No,
everything.
because
you're
us
always giving
three,
excuses for
us
garbage.
us three can sit there and be like, this is good, this is great, this is bad, this is trash, this is ugly. Everything is bad to you. And so if everything
Yeah,
is
'cause it
bad, then
was.
it's like, where are we? But obviously that's not true. Because
But I've told you the
nothing,
good that there
nothing
was in
makes
some of
more-
these products, but it doesn't make it
But
amazing.
what you're
though.
telling me is an opinion. What I'm explaining
I agree with
is the
Upward's
fact that
comment
we
right
can
there.
go ahead and understand. Now, even if you don't like this the most, this is still the best Disney Plus show out there. It still makes 3 times the budget it gets. By all means, this is a success. You can't get everything you want in a comic book adaptation series. You don't even get that in anime. You don't get that in sports. You don't get that in life, period. So why do we hold that in such a high regard to comic books? Like, yeah, we like the character. Yeah, we like some stories. But we could equally point out 5 to 10 different stories where Wolverine was not represented the way that he should have. It doesn't mean comic books are bad. It just means he didn't like that story. It's the same way with the movies. I just don't know why we're so cynical with the movies when clearly we're getting
Because
a
Disney
billion-dollar
deserves this
product
cynical.
every single year.
They deserve people like me to be
Bundle kinda
cynical. 'Cause
got
this
a point
stuff wasn't.
here.
Nah, Bundle's
but-
over
but
here
look-
chilling.
And I'm
He's
not
chilling.
chilling, but if
look-
a movie
but look,
takes
SSJ,
You don't gotta
I will say
accept
this.
$100 million to make, and it makes
Y'all are
200
mad
to
because I'm not
$500 million,
saying that this series is
then
amazing, but
that's
it's
that's
decent,
great.
but it's not amazing.
Well, I mean, I don't
Nothing
think
not.
it's into it, but I would like to state this.
I've given amazing
So-
reviews,
So,
but okay.
so the
You
pacing,
apparently don't know me.
the pacing of this season
Not in the last
has
7
been
years.
has been a bit of a very slow roller coaster. Like, so basically, it took like 10 minutes just to get to the drop that you originally wanted to get on this ride for. But dramatically, with within this season, I mean, we've got vigilantes dying.
You got what you wanted.
In this plot, White Tiger died. We got the detective mystery of Foggy's death. How did Bullseye get here? The connection of connecting season 3 going into Daredevil Reborn.
Being born again.
Yeah, with Daredevil being born again.
Born again.
So
Yeah.
I mean, but like if we're talking about an actual
but that's
plot,
how it works in the comics too.
If we're talking about an actual plot in the script, if you take
just
the time,
because it was in the comics doesn't mean it needs to be adapted again.
If you take the time for the common
That's
script
what
that
the
gets put on
basis is.
television,
Just like Professor Hulk.
this is kind of complicated.
The basis. The basis. You got
Like
to
Professor
represent the
Hulk.
basis.
SSJ out like a regular plotted series or TV show. Are there that many that have this many inclusions within a season of plot?
There is nothing in human history that has it. Nothing.
You're talking about in general or Disney?
I mean, Penguin was fairly close, but I'm just saying, like, you got to think about a lot of stuff happened in this season.
So let me ask y'all this, because a lot of people online have reviewed this series, in your opinion, but a lot of people have reviewed this series online and have stated this series to be as good or better than the Penguin. And y'all have seen the Penguin. What do y'all think about that statement?
It has its moments.
So
I feel like the Penguin more, but it has its moments.
So okay, to me, the element that's more lovable about the Penguin is the fascination with the American gangster.
The monster
whereas with this Daredevil film, it's a little more law and criminal with violence. Yeah. So like to me, it's like tomato, whatever you gravitate towards. But to me, that's really the differential between these two series.
Yeah.
Now I might pick Colin Farrell over Fisk. That's the only person that was as dramatic. Daredevil's blind. So I don't know. It's like I like Daredevil, but like being dramatic, Fisk was the most dramatic person in this season.
It shows you actually how great that show is, though, because Penguin isn't even about Batman. It's about a side villain character, and we're comparing it to a show that has the main character, his main antagonist, his other main antagonist, his love interest, and another main character named Punisher from a whole other show, and we're still talking about it on par. DC really has the writing and the comic books when it comes to it, but just cinematic and TV show, Marvel has them right now. But without even getting into that conversation, still both great shows. Maybe I'd be gripes about both. At this point, I think we're just going to be redundant, repeating the same thing. You know, you like certain things, you like
at the end of this. Look, if they missed this last episode, if this last episode didn't exist, I would have watched this episode. I would have been disappointed. I'll be honest.
I'm with you. If this last episode didn't hit with the fight scenes and the shock factor with the police commissioner and Fisk, and
I think that's what's got a lot of y'all tricked is the action and shock factor. That's hiding everything else.
Simultaneously, that's.
But it is good action though.
That's what you needed though. And then
we needed the last episode
who they are.
But when we're talking about the story for story, bar for bar, Penguin was the better series for me, and it's not even close. There was 1 week, and Jeff, you told me, hey, did you watch this episode of Daredevil? I was like, oh, I forgot. Why did I forget? Because the series wasn't connecting with me in the same way that Penguin was. Jeff, did I miss a week on Penguin? No, I did not. I had that bitch circled on my calendar every single week.
Hey, slow down on profanity. Calm down. Dang, man, y'all make me work hard. Dang.
Fresh line up. Fresh
Take your time, brother. Take your time. Hey.
Fresh line up. Shut up, bro.
All right, so a question I do have on here. So with this fight scene with Daredevil and Punisher and all of its violence, can you guys give me where would you guys rate this top 5 in MCU fight scenes? Violent
no,
fight scenes. Does it
okay.
make it? Does it make it?
Instead of fight scenes,
Does it make it?
I
Probably
would put
not.
it in violent moments. I wouldn't put it in fight scenes, but I put it in
Violent moment.
violent
Okay,
moments.
let's go. Okay.
Violent moments, then yeah.
That's
That
a
might
good edit.
be in
That's
the
a good edit.
MCU. In the MCU, that literally might be the most violent moment in all entirety of MCU since 2008.
Daredevil and Wolverine now.
I know, but think about that. Even with Deadpool,
Not Daredevil,
Wolverine,
Deadpool, Wolverine.
when's the last time you seen someone's head smashed like
as
that?
good
where
as
jaw
Deadpool and Wolverine
and all
was,
that, him, like,
Deadpool and Wolverine had CGI blood, so it
That's
kind of
what I'm
loses
saying.
some points
This
for me.
was
For
that
CGI
prosthetic,
blood.
real, whatever. Even Thor
with the
cutting
heads.
Thanos' head off wasn't nearly. This is by far the goriest,
That was
bloodiest death
Disney-fied.
they've done.
That was a
in
Disney-fied
MCU.
head chop. You didn't even see
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, it was.
You see like
But-
purple blood off screen on everybody
But
else.
this
but
though
not
was
near
Disney
Thanos'
saying
head.
we need to go back to Netflix, and they showed it. They broke that man's face and head. I screamed, "Oh my god!" when I saw it. That doesn't.
Yeah, I did too.
It takes forever to get me out my seat or whatever. Even I said, "Oh my god!" Like, what? Disney, y'all did this?
I said some more stuff, but I'm keeping it PG because I'm not trying to cuss on Jay Leno's stream. Not me.
But when I wasn't there, like
I appreciate
the fight scenes y'all spoke on, the man taking the shotgun shot to the back of the dome piece, completely in full, view. Then shot the guy in the spleen, like swung his head to the table thing, knocked his teeth out. Then showed you the downward, camera angle of dude getting a gun pushed to his head, and the bullets are flying through his face and out the table. Now a guy getting his, excuse me, I'm not gonna say it, his groin cut. Excuse me, when he went to his like that, when Punisher stabbed him in his, and pulled up and stuff. I'm like, yo, Disney ain't never did this.
I thought he stabbed him in the chest and ripped out his guts. I didn't see that.
I saw that when he fights the tactical
but it was kind of blurry at
when
that
they
point
put the shield on, right before he puts the gun on, pushes the shield down, and shoots the guy on top of the head 3 times. Yeah, I thought he stabbed him in his thigh and pulled up whatever. He don't, bro. He go right for the testicles. He goes right, and I'm like, why would y'all even show this? Why would y'all even do this?
Well, Jay Leno, why don't you tell on the stream? I'll share it too. What we talked about on Discord, you had said, well, in the fight scene where all of the anti-vigilante task force was trying to go up against the Punisher, we saw a female cop try to go up against him.
Hey, bro, I was so happy that he dicked her in the face, bro. When she ran up on Frank, I was like, Frank, dick her.
Bro, I was screaming, laughing when I saw that.
It was cool, but what did I say though?
I was happy too.
Hey, hold on, bro. I gotta press the button. I gotta press the button on that one. Man. Hold on.
He gave her the.
I ain't gonna lie.
But you remember what I said after that, though? I was like, well, that was cool and all, but Disney didn't have the balls to, at the very least, have Punisher shoot her in the face, because at least Deadpool did that in the first movie. Remember the woman? It was a female he was fighting, and he goes, "Oh, well, you're a woman? Oh no, well, I don't know."
He cocks the gun and put it to her head.
He cocks the gun and shoots her. So at least Deadpool will shoot the female Disney, but Punisher
I will
can't.
say
He
this
can
though,
only deck
when
him.
Punisher, he didn't shoot her, but that right
should've shot
cross
her.
he gave her, that blood shot all out her face. She was gone after that one hit, bro. Like, I mean, I get
the
it,
female was
but
the only one to land a solid hit, right?
She landed a solid hit, but then when he swung
she
that
did.
right, I know
She
exactly.
did. Feminist
they
agenda.
showed that
Feminist
blood
political
fly
agenda.
across the screen when she got hit. Like, she got hit and lost all teeth.
Nah, she was completely off screen after the punch. Like, I didn't see no female after that.
She was, but I mean, but simultaneously, it's like,
But he had a dude in his hand after that he stabbed. I was like, nah, that should have been the female that he should have stabbed. He should have went brutal all over her too.
They still murked her though, because it's like, because we're so much stronger. A punch is the finishing move. That was it. And when he hit her, it was far more blood than anyone else that he punched. If you look at that again,
mind you, I'm not arguing. I'm just saying.
I feel you. I feel you. I understand that. I'm with you. Yeah, because she's the one that
with the
stabbed and
shotgun
got the
too.
hit in. But when he cleared her with that right hook, that was the most vicious right hook of any punch in the entire fight. Like, I understood why a woman wouldn't be able to get up after that hit. Go ahead and watch that hit again. That blood stream was like 2 feet long when he hit her in the mouth, bro. Like, she was gone. But you're right though, yeah. You go ahead and shank me like that, and you getting the treatment too. I'm dropping you.
Or
on
I
the
don't know if
forehead.
y'all play Gears of War, like when Marcus Phoenix at the end of Gears of War 3 takes that dagger that he got from Dom and just jams it in that queen's stomach, and he's like, "This is for my brother."
Stomach. You missed.
That's how Punisher should have killed that woman.
You know, it was really hard for him to do that too because the queen was his father's lover. He ended up finding that out. Anyway, we ain't gonna go.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna go into Gears of War right now.
That's Gears of War talk, though.
We get into Gears. I love Gears.
That's cool. You know Gears of War lore, though.
Oh, you're talking.
But all right,
we talking.
Reeling this back in, boys.
Yeah,
so
reel it in.
That's my boy.
Has Kingpin always been that powerful? Like, to be able to snap somebody like that?
It's been unrealistically.
Yeah.
I'll let you just speak on real quick because I know SJ. I'm gonna let you do this because his feats of strength when he's actually fighting against characters of Spider-Man and Punisher and Daredevil, even within the comic book mythos, he's able to toss cars, like break through like brick walls or stuff like that. Yeah, he shows, even though I know he's not as strong. But in the comic books, he shows a Ben Grimm level of dexterity and feats of strength. Like they have him doing stuff that's like you shouldn't be.
The MCU though.
Yeah, we're not talking MCU. You're correct. So that's why I digress and onto you right here. But I will say this: there was one scene in the beginning of this episode where they showed him take his suit off, and you looked at him and just in his regular suit, and you can see like the bodysuit they put on William D'Onofrio's character. To show like how, because obviously him in his older age, him in his mid-60s, he's going to have a saggier build. But if you're Kingpin and you're towering above everybody, you got to have this muscular build. So when you look at that scene right after Matt Murdock was shot and he's getting the blood off of his suit, look at him sitting next to Vanessa when he's telling her, I know about everything with, Poindexter and Bullseye. You can clearly see they put like a muscle bodysuit on Wilson Fisk's character to show that this guy is this strong. So, long story short, this last part of it, there is videos I'll gladly send to you that actually depicts his top 10 feats of strength of when he fought against metahumans or superheroes. He is absolutely strong without any, outside, to make him that strong. He is just that New York strong. That's the Kingpin. That's Wilson Fisk. SSJ. Take it.
So if we're talking about strictly the MCU, I'd say he's probably a little over superhuman level strength. He hasn't fought against anybody like Spider-Man or anything like that. He's only gone up against Daredevil and just regular humans that he's killed with his bare hands. And for somebody of his size, well, that was off screen. We don't know if he's actually gone up against Ronan. He just did missions for Ronan. Ronan's done missions for him. Yeah. But his strength does fluctuate in the MCU. Like in Daredevil, we see him just throwing Daredevil across the room in a couple of episodes in the first season when he fought him a couple of times during their first meetup. And just when he just kills regular humans, how brutal he is with them. Yeah. But then when we flash over to when we see him in Hawkeye, when he got hit by a car, he survived that from Kate Bishop's mom. He got hit by a car and survived that. And he was able to rip the car door off of her, the car handle door off of her door to try to attack her. And for a regular human to do that, you got to be really strong to do that. So his strength, I think, does fluctuate. He's gotten stronger throughout the years. And I think maybe he's gone through some type of training because I know he does meditate and things like that. And I know, like, now that this is connected to the Netflix version, he used to have connections with the hand. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has those connections still or has connections to different trainings and things like that to increase his strength.
Flashbacks to boxing also.
Yeah.
Remember old girl Sheila, she was talking to him about me. I'm in and catch her up 5 seconds real quick. And he's like, what do you know about me and Taekwondo and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, I like boxing. I don't know if you
Yeah,
guys
he
remember
was a
that talk
boxer
about
back then.
Yeah, so yeah, that's all I had to say. My bad. Go ahead.
So yeah, I'd say to answer the mainly answer your question, Jay Leno, I'd say he is a little bit above superhuman strength, or at least
Yep.
on par. I can't see him
Yep.
just beating Steve Rogers in a fight though, 1-on-1. But he could,
Do you
give him a run for his money though.
taking away his powers? Random question. Do you think Kingpin could beat Luke Cage in an arm wrestling match? I know this is crazy, but answer. Go ahead.
Oh,
I
Who's
don't think
stronger, Luke
so,
Cage or
because
Kingpin?
that's a
Who's
big black
stronger?
man right there.
I'm gonna
That's
go.
it.
I'm just gonna.
Hey.
I'm gonna go to Luke Cage.
I'm going
But, I
with
mean,
Luke Cage.
it's a good comparison because you said would take away the power because
Yeah.
this flabby, wide shoulder man Kingpin has done some
He's
Well, he's not
ridiculously
flabby
strong,
though.
crazy
He's
thing.
solid muscle.
That's
Like he
one
looks
thing.
big and round, but it's
Yeah, and that
actually all
Spider-Man
muscle.
comic
Yeah.
book, it said like when he went ahead and went after Aunt May and he snatched the Kingpin up, like grabbing him by his skin and all that stuff like that. Like the inner monologue, what even Spider-Man was saying, like his big, fat-looking stature. It's not fat, it's muscle. He's all muscle like this, and that's why he's able to hang, the way that he is and stuff like that. So. Yeah, solid comparison. I've still got my money on Luke Cage, but yeah, I just want to sneak that in real quick. My bad.
Okay.
Does
about
that
you,
answer your question, Jay Leno?
Yeah. I guess now that you're back here, cuz what was your response to seeing how strong Kingpin was, cuz?
I got a real quick question for Kingpin for him, Derek. Derek, who's going to be the arm wrestle? You or Kingpin?
Kingpin. Kingpin all day.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. You got it.
So I've been reading Ultimate Spider-Man, and Kingpin is very strong in that book.
Oh yeah.
So
Yes, he is.
Yeah, so for him to just whip that dude like that, I knew he was capable of doing something like that. But that was the strongest show of strength that was showcased for him up to this point, because even in the Netflix series, he used a car.
Yeah.
He didn't do it with his bare hands.
Oh, you're right about that. He did run.
Yeah, he did.
Car.
He did break a car in the
forgot
Netflix
about
show
that.
too.
You're right. He did do that. That was pretty sick. Okay.
So
right.
I think that this was him ripping that dude, the commissioner's head, was not only the most violent moment in MCU history, it was the most shocking moment in MCU history because it let us know that Disney is willing to go to Game of Thrones territory in terms of violence.
He talking, y'all.
And that was like a moment where I was shocked. My wife looked at me and was like, "What are you watching?" And I was like, I can't believe my wife had that reaction to a Disney program. So that was epic. And that's why, in my opinion, this episode humbled me so much. And I'm very confused right now because what SSJ is saying to me, I still can relate to it. And I just don't know if I'm just so defeated at this point that I am starting to accept less. Is the Disney brainwashing working for me? Am I becoming
on a lot of us
feminized?
in this Discord.
Am I becoming feminized? I think it's just okay. So they exceeded my expectations. Now, like, so this last episode just lets me know, just almost repeating what you had said, Derek. Like what I was worried about and excuses that I made why I had any cons to this. Seeing Kingpin rip dude's face off in half in that bloody scene with Punisher, it's another tease. This whole season has teased me every episode of what possibly could come. But it's not the first time that's ever happened to me before.
It was cool, but you know what? There's also a lame thing that's a takeaway for Kingpin as well. He got cheated on by his wife, and then his wife goes ahead and kills the guy that cheated on him. That
is actually the most vindictive way to get about it. It's like, if you kill the dude, it's like, whatever, she still liked him. I put you in the position, I made you kill the guy. Like, if you're gonna get cheated on, is that not the best situation?
Nah, Kingpin.
Well,
Kingpin should
I
have
don't
killed
think
him.
that
That's
Kingpin
feminist
made.
agenda. Kingpin should have
I
killed
mean,
Well,
him.
I'm
no.
trolling, but yeah.
Oh,
Feminist
okay, you
agenda all
trolling.
the way.
I mean,
Because
I'm trolling, but yeah, because obviously in real life we wouldn't do that. But in the comic book setting, knowing Kingpin, knowing Wilson Fisk, if I've already kept this guy down here as a slave and blah 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 and stuff like this, like what was his end going to be? Like, if I let you
Right.
let him
For
go to
Vanessa
the
to kill
cops,
her.
like,
Kill him.
so yeah,
Like that's
You told
stupid.
me
Like
I couldn't kill him. Well,
I'm taking
you're
care
gonna
of you
see him
myself,
suffer,
and I'm
so
not
he's
gonna
gotta
keep
die
you in no.
somehow.
I'm not gonna waste time and keep you in no prison either. You're gonna get taken care of right there. I probably would have broken his neck
simultaneously
out
does
like
that
how he
not?
did with the other
And
dude.
you're right, and that's what I would do too. And you're right. I will not argue that point. I'm just giving another point of view, not arguing. With
Gotcha.
guys, what do you say that
Wilson,
was?
giving how Wilson Fisk is, doesn't that set right on prime as how his personality is to be a torturer, to be the methodology type of a cruelty, you know what I mean, to torment, to torture, because we saw in the first 4
In
episodes,
certain cases,
anytime
yeah.
he was like flicking his hands, his knuckles were always broken. They were sore, they were red, they were cut. He's beating him every single time he sees him. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, kill him immediately. That's what Kingpin would have did. But simultaneously understanding the way that he treated him, the way that he did, beating him for months, blah, blah, giving him an axe, thinking you got time, you think you can, can fight against me, and then I'm going to present you the woman that loves you, and she's going to blow your head off on top of it. Like, that is really brutal. As as far as
Well,
so,
That's not how
in
I
my
saw it.
opinion, I don't believe that
I
it
didn't
was
see it like that at
Kingpin.
all.
Yeah, I don't
Okay,
believe
okay.
Kingpin had it in mind that Vanessa was going to kill him at the end. Like,
Me
for
neither.
instance, Kingpin throwing him that axe.
Though, but okay, I hear you.
Well, Kingpin throwing him that axe.
Not
Kingpin
this
wanted to
Kingpin.
show him how much of more of a man he was. So it wasn't just about beating him up;
Yeah,
it was also
that's
about
true.
demasculating him at
That's
the
true.
same time.
That's true.
Vanessa killing him, I saw that, just in my opinion, I saw Vanessa killing him eventually as a sign of her loyalty, reestablishing her loyalty to Wilson Fisk, letting him know, hey, I really don't
took
want to
that
kill
from
this
there.
guy,
Yep.
but to show you that I'm serious about our marriage, to show you that this was a mistake, I'll do something that I don't want to do.
Yeah,
And
I
so,
took the same
yeah.
thing. I took the same thing from that.
Okay.
I literally I took the exact same thing from that, but I also took with the other grain that understanding if I don't go with him, everything crumbles. Like, Wilson's got a million plus, contingency plans upon contingency plans upon this. Like, he's kept her safe. Like, you're running his business. You know what I mean? Like, so even if you don't agree with what I'm going with, you're not getting out of here alive. And he was good to snatch that gun away from her immediately afterwards. I don't know if y'all caught that. After she shot him, he went immediately after that and took that from her. I don't know if we want to look into that, whatever like that. But I don't ever think that there was a time that she had to. I never felt when watching it that she was going to betray him. It was a fun little idea to like tinker with, like going with Luca, understanding the therapy stuff. This situation, I'm showing you that I kept Adam here. This is the whole reason we have our issues, or blah, blah, blah. Him going, I'm trying to be better. Him doing all stuff like that. Like, I entertained everything we were thinking about, but once she shot him, I'm just like, yeah, man, yeah. She's fulfilling her comic book counterpart. They gave her a little bit too much of a role, like SJ said, feminist agenda, whatever. But by the time the final episode happened, I understood why they went the route that they did. But whatever. Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
I went the MCU route.
And I agree with you on that, with the Vanessa joint. I agree that you did not need to have her be there to have Kingpin move to mayor. I know it's like, oh, you wanted to film them as she had this aspect, he built this aspect of clean money. then to now go back over, oh yeah, I respect and love everything you did. I just did this because we're making millions. Now I'm mayor, we can make billions. I'm gonna use rail. I got where they did that, the whole round. So that scratched that itch. But I also understand for people that don't want to wait for that roller coaster ride of where like you should have just did this, and then gave us the characters we wanted. But that's another combo.
A lot of people online say that this show was supposed to be like a slow burn, but that's the thing. It was mostly slow.
Yeah, I
for the
agree.
most
Yeah,
part.
I agree. And you touched on it before, which you roasted me, which I get is like I'm speaking to the people. I'm like, oh, they had scheduling issues, and so that's a problem, and that BS. And you're right.
Yeah, and I always have something for those people too in mind.
You're
Oh well, it was in the comics too. Well, I don't care.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right. You're 100%. The only time that I give the 2019 to 2023 filming a break is because you had those filming, you had to do it, but you also had the COVID and you had the SAG strikes as well. So
like they may have had like COVID and strikes and all that stuff, but they didn't have to push the agenda hard and give us trash though, and that's what all the phase 4 was. Trash.
Talking facts, okay? Talking facts. I ain't mad at it. You're right.
All right, so
what was your next question, Jay Leno?
Okay, my bad. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh no, I think I talked over. My bad.
No, this is the last thing I want to say because there was one scene when he was about to go to Kingpin's and Red Hook's, Brooklyn, whatever, and you saw all of his personal police militia. And Cameron's like, "You're gonna go in there. You're gonna die. You're blah blah blah. It's not gonna happen." He said, "Okay, I need your help." Done. She's back here. Karen Page is back. And then the next thing he asked was like, "I need an army." And then the next thing they show him was him going into Josie's, broke down Josie's with Josie serving drinks, a few female beat cops, the Asian chick, and
the dyke
Cherry.
cops.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like when he said, "I need an army," bro, my heart dropped. I'm like, they're about to show Jessica Jones, Danny Rand that actually cares about being Iron Fist this time, and Luke Cage. Like, that's what we're gonna get. And you gave us that. Like, I need an army, and you showed these characters.
They gave us that Asian cop that almost got everybody killed in a hostage situation.
You feel me?
Cherry,
I was so
two dyke cops, and Karen Page.
I thought we were gonna get the Defenders,
Trash.
or at very least West Coast Avengers, because we had Kamala Khan's father. Like, she's gonna come back, but she went to the.
I'm glad we didn't get Kamala Khan. Keep her far away from Daredevil as possible.
I get you on that, but would that not have been better if we got a realization of how her that scene of her ended when she was like, talk to Kate Bishop, I'm here to get the young Avengers, West Coast Avengers, and did you know that Scott Lang had a daughter? Now, if Kate Bishop and Kamala Khan and old girl showed up, you don't think that would have been better than Cherry, Josie, and a few beat cops? You don't think that would have been
I don't want those characters either, though. I would have rather neither.
I get you, but with respect on how the timeline on what the show is going. Remember, she's over there, went to California, get the new West Coast Avengers, bring them over here, blah blah blah. When they bring new continuity and new characters into it, introducing a few beat cops like that are just going to be kill offable, that's nothing. You didn't get the Defenders, okay, you don't have the budget to do that. But the next stage, wouldn't that have been better than the cops? Obviously, we didn't get it, but wouldn't that have been better? Yeah, it's an all-female young Avengers cast.
I don't want to see none of those characters.
Cassie Lang, Kate Bishop, and Kamala Khan wouldn't have been better?
Ant-Man's daughter, Kamala Khan, absolutely not.
No,
hell no.
Okay, not those characters.
Excuse my French, but yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Those characters aren't attractive.
I'm still not eliminating any of the members of the Defenders joining.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't think there's a strong enough threat to have all of them there for screenplay and conflict. That
leads into my next question, and I'm asking all of you this.
Go ahead. Quite honestly, unless Kingpin smuggles something that can empower him to Red Hook. Or with all these vigilantes kind of coming around and possibly some being eliminated, I think Kingpin's forces are going to have to appear to be stronger in the upcoming season, in
I got one
order
word
to
for you.
see the
If they were
Defenders or
smart, they'd
even
bring
Moon Knight
Hawkeye
showing up.
into it.
I got one word for you. Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts takes place the same year
Yeah.
Daredevil's supposed to take
Yeah.
place in the exact same
Yep.
city.
Yeah,
didn't
we've been
see
saying
a
that in these past
single
streams, bro.
I
Avengers.
doubt
I
it.
know, I know, but we didn't
I
see
doubt
a
they're gonna do
single
that.
Avengers Tower or anything like that. Now that Kingpin has declared martial law, all outlaws, superhumans, whatever. So what he's in right now, the Thunderbolts is supposed to be right after that. Will that take any type of precedent, or is that too street level? Will
We're
we not
getting
even
too
care about
overzealous.
Could
that?
we see
'Cause what's gonna
Kingpin in
probably
Battle World?
happen?
Go that far?
You
Understood. We're
won't see
getting too
Kingpin in Battle
overzealous.
World.
I'm
Yeah,
with
we're
you. I'm
getting
with
too
you. I'm
overzealous
with
because
you.
what's going to happen is, I'm 100% sure is going to happen is that we'll probably just see like a newspaper article or something like that saying like, oh yeah, superheroes or something like that. New superheroes discover Thunderbolts team. And that's it. You're not getting nothing else. We're not getting no cameo from Valentine. You're not going to see Void on screen. They're not going to talk about none of that stuff. They're going to keep all that stuff separate.
I could possibly see the task force having that. What was that chemical used on that bullet to harm Luke Cage?
It wasn't a chemical. It was a Full Metal Jacket round that was used by Justin Hammer.
Now look. Luke Cage shows up, gets Punisher, and then for another episode leading to the end of that season, now the task force or Bullseye, somebody shows up and is able to give Luke Cage.
But that stuff got locked up.
Well,
so I don't think that stuff is returning.
Answering your
Justin
question
Hammer is still in
with
prison.
a question, do you think that would serve precedent over the Thunderbolts and a godlike century?
It's going to be completely
you think
separate.
That would be, and you are right. You are right. It's going to be completely separate because they cannot have two worlds exist in that same film. That's too much of a story to tell. And you are right. But it is the same mythos, it's the same universe. What implications will a century god like in the Thunderbolts have on now New York City where we have? Because they're taking place in the same year. They are.
Yeah.
They are.
You'll
So
probably
where
hear
they
like
go
Matt Murdock
forward
in
with
passing
that,
conversations say, "Oh
like,
yeah, there was
all
some
right.
god in the city or something like
That's
that."
gonna be crazy. That's
So
gonna
look,
be interesting.
I'm just gonna say this. This is going really, really deep. I'm talking about this is something I'm hoping for. I'm just going to throw it out there in the universe since we're on the stream. This is diving into species of aquatic creatures that hasn't been discovered yet. This is what I'm going. All right. So, Fantastic Four has a little bit of Earth X 1999 in it within that storyline itself. Doesn't Daredevil become Ghost Rider?
That's not going to happen in this universe.
That's not going to happen in this one. No, but I hear you.
100% not happening.
That's not happening in this.
They kill Daredevil, and then is there any chance that there's people in this 616 die? Listen. A 616
His arms on the ground.
dying, and they're bringing in those same characters in a different universe. That's all I'm saying.
Zero
I just want to finish my sentence. I know y'all shut me down early. I just want to finish my sentence.
I want to finish my sentence.
Because I know you made a post on your community post saying you wanted like fusion characters and things like that. They're not doing that. They're not doing that.
I feel it. Like, I'm gonna get this out. I'm gonna get
yeah. I just had to get that one off, dude.
I feel it. Now, unfortunately, they won't do that. But one thing, if we are, I'm looking for the green light right now. Are we transitioning into the Fantastic Four?
Ready to go right now.
That's Earth X.
Because I got something for that Fantastic Four conversation. I just want to make sure
I got a little bit of. We can spend a little.
That
bit
movie's gonna be trash.
Honestly,
I'm probably
this
gonna see a bootleg.
This far into the stream, we're really okay. One last question: Could you guys think of any other street level characters that could show up?
Hawkeye. Easily Hawkeye. I don't know why they didn't use. Well, he was supposed to. I've said this a few times on previous streams. Hawkeye was supposed to actually have shown up in this season of Daredevil, but it was like, of course, the reshoots and things like that. They couldn't get him, and they couldn't get Jeremy Renner. But Hawkeye would have been a perfect character to use, especially since he had already previously had interactions with the Kingpin. So, and especially if people don't really think Hawkeye is that interesting, which he's kind of not, but I like Jeremy Renner playing Hawkeye because he feels like a darker take on the character as opposed to like the goofy, happy take that we see like in comics. So I think that he would fit well going up against somebody like Kingpin, but they just won't give it to us. Another character I think that would be cool to be used would be Moon Knight. Moon Knight would be cool.
Spectre can return? Spectre can return?
No. One second.
Wait, who did you say, Jay Leno?
Spectre. I mean, basically Moon Knight.
SJ has been hitting some heat for the last 2 minutes. Let him cook. Continue. What'd you say about Midnight? You ain't been. Been wrong about Midnight. The last 2.5 minutes, he ain't missed a beat. Keep cooking. Keep cooking. Keep cooking. You got because you was going right in the moon.
Yeah, go ahead.
You were on the right. Keep cooking.
And then because y'all already said it, but Jessica Jones, because Daredevil already had previous interactions with her, and I like seeing their interactions on Defenders, Matt Murdock and Jessica Jones. So she would have been perfect. I don't know why, or you know what? She actually was referenced her universe was referenced in the first episode. So I'm surprised they didn't bring her in this episode because when Foggy Nelson was talking to Kirsten McDuffie, he said, I previously worked at the Jerry Hogarth firm, and that's where he worked at in season 2 of Daredevil when he quit working with Daredevil.
He quit working, this get him a spatula. Get him a okay.
So Jessica Jones would have been a great character. So Jessica Jones, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, those 3 would have been great for sure. Another one,
Moon Knight, bro.
When he said I need an army, they dropped the ball there. That's when he's speaking to that. They could have put that in there, and that'd have been the perfect thing. When he went to Josie's, there's no reason to be Josie, Terry the Asian, and some beat cop. It should have been the Defender.
I'll agree with this, but if he wasn't in Thunderbolts, I could kind of see John Walker. Because I would like to see his interaction with Bullseye.
That would have been sick. Because that'd have been
imagine that crazy interaction.
With the Thunderbolts.
Yep.
That'd have been sick.
They could have set up the Thunderbolts. I'm telling you, but they won't do it. They won't give us that. They will only give you the MCU, the bottom of the barrel. And I know that your cousin Derek agrees with me because he's shaking his head up and down. Yes, sir. And he's got a delicious plate of food that he's about to
let's hope they kill Taskmaster. And we've been saying that. Kill her. Get Tony Masters back.
I know that this is unlikely, but imagine if they gave us the actual real Taskmaster in Daredevil.
Oh my gosh, please.
The male Taskmaster.
That would be too good entertainment. They're allergic to giving us too good of it.
I had a guy
for a long period of time.
My message, my own thing. He had. This is no real.
I agree with you.
It's not going to happen. He had Jack Duquesne becoming Taskmaster. The swordsman that's locked up. By the way, we also need to talk about the
swordsman being locked up.
Kingpin has locked up in the bottom. Like that is a huge deal on him taking over as mayor. As who he is. I'm not going to get into all the other.
I think all of us as Black brothers, we should be happy that Wilson Fisk did that.
as the billionaires, but as far as like the characters that occupy the MCU, because obviously we know Spider-Man is in here. John Bernthal's
we'll never see him
character gets out. Yeah, correct. Bernthal's character gets out of there because he already. They said.
He breaks out at the end.
Yeah, there's an interview about that. Yeah, and but I just really would like to see like all the New York-based modern, MCU characters. Like, where's Doctor Strange? Like when he implemented the entire blackout, because after he
I think he's gonna die. I think he's gonna die soon.
Yeah, I think
at the end of Doctor Strange too. Didn't he like disappear in a portal with Cleo?
Oh, so you're right with Cleo. You're right. He went to go stop
his wife.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so he's not there. But really think about it. Is there no other New York hero that we've seen since Endgame
There's
in New York
female
at
white
that time.
tiger for y'all.
her weak
There
self.
goes, yeah, about to say.
Obviously,
Y'all got your
defenders
little
aren't
female.
there.
And you
They
know what?
slept
I
on
said
them.
in previous streams that I was like, you know what? This character's all right. I don't care for this character no more. I'd be okay with not seeing her again, actually.
One of my homies, I'll say this real quick. I was talking to before he's really into this. He thought the same thing. He had the same argument that I had when it said I need an army. He literally thought because Karen Page was opening the door to Josie's, she was coming from San Francisco. And you remember all the talk. Obviously, we had the West Coast Avengers with Kamala Khan that she was going to bring over Cassie and Kate Bishop back to New York. But the one person that he thought that was going to come over was going to be She-Hulk, and it was going to be the character Tatiana, or whatever her name is. But she was just going to be who she is, because it was like she's already a lawyer, she's already dealt with Matt, she slept with Matt, she knows who Matt's real, whatever. And even in She-Hulk, if you need anything, let me know type deal. That's how she ended it. So Karen coming from San Francisco as being a lawyer, the same legal system, as She-Hulk. My boy that I talked about this on Wednesday, who he thought it was going to be the female West Coast Avengers and She-Hulk that brought in, and she was going to bring Scar, Hulk's son, because he had such a poor showing at the end.
Trash. I'm glad they didn't do none of that.
But when he first said it, that's like that. Respectfully, that would give those characters that had such a bad taste in our mouth a redemption on what we could look forward to. But now simultaneously, as I understood what we got, I'm like, yeah, I'm glad that didn't happen. So
that would have been
Look, I do want to throw this in there. Have you guys read anything? Am I the only one that read anything that said that Mephisto's going to make an appearance in Spider-Man?
Oh, I did hear that.
Listen, stop.
Let me go. Yeah, SSJ. You know where I'm going. You know where I'm going.
All right, you go
Because
ahead.
you cut me off. Remember, you cut off my last sentence.
All right, go ahead.
So in New York, who's in New York? Who's in New York? SSJ.
Get it, SSJ.
All right,
Daredevil is in Daredevil is in New York.
Take the sensu bean. Get it, bro.
Hell's Kitchen.
In Hell's Kitchen in New York. Who gives the power? Who dishes out the spirit of vengeance?
Get it, SSJ. Get it.
Who hands out the spirit of vengeance? I'm asking you, SSJ. Who does?
SSJ, no. You give him a little bit.
Know?
I just want you to say it. Who hands out the spirit of vengeance?
Oh, trust me, I know.
All right, then. I'm just saying.
But Marvel doesn't know.
Marvel don't know.
Marvel
Great
doesn't
answer. Great answer.
Because they've been teasing Mephisto for years and years. They're not doing Mephisto.
Madison.
They're not doing
it.
it.
Spider-Man. I'm telling you. Daredevil. Ghost Rider. They don't have to introduce him. Look, Fantastic Four. Earth X.
Yeah.
Isn't Ghost Rider like under rights issues though? Because Ghost Rider was supposed to have his own series under Hulu.
He's technically he's technically not Ghost Rider. He's Daredevil with the spirit of vengeance.
Nah, you reach
well,
it.
No, see now, yeah. What do you ask?
Yeah, we reach it.
Yeah,
he said, "Oh, hold on, SS." Yeah, we reach it.
No, hold on now.
It's not too late.
Are you going with Dan? You going with the Mexican guy? No, what you doing?
No, I'm saying Cox. Pause.
I know. We got you. You going with Johnny Blaze?
Because I mean, spoiler alert for
they should use Johnny Blaze.
Spoiler alert for people like freaking. I think Galactus is just trying to somehow connect this with Fantastic Four. I think Galactus is going to kick the Fantastic Four's butt. Mr. Fantastic is going to leave Earth X and freaking. Maybe go to this universe.
I'm gonna double down on that, and I'm gonna tell
you. And then Doom's gonna go to his Earth X. Doom's gonna go through his Earth X universe and gather all those other counterparts that's in there and throw them in.
Oh my God! Okay, I'm gonna say this one thing, and I'm gonna say this because if I talk, it'll be 10 minutes. I think we're gonna this. I think this is the segue. I'm gonna say this.
Jonah Level.
Ew.
Yeah, I don't care for Superman.
Anyway,
I don't care for Superman.
I'm just
a common gesture.
With the understanding that Reed Richards creates the bridge, which is what allows him to travel through multiverse and time on some observational type ish. In the comic books, he's not He limits himself to not going all the way through, which obviously he breaks that. But if you look at the trailer, I'm gonna reserve this. On the far right side of the trailer, he has a drawing where he has the bridge that happens in X and Y, and then right underneath it, he's drawn in hexagon, which is, when you're breaking through different, within the MCU, different, time stuff, whatever like that, with Guardians of the Galaxy, whatever it is, it's always hexagons that are what, that said hero is using to pass through the next, variant, time stream, multi-stream, whatever like that. Long story short,
Jonah said Mr. Fantastic could find the ultimate nullifier.
He can. I don't think they'll do that in this movie, but what I do think they'll do in this movie
Invisible Woman
is that they're going to fail. I think they're going to fail.
Yeah, they're going to fail.
I think they're going to fail.
In that movie.
Galactus is going to destroy the planet, and we're gonna get the Silver Surfer that we want in another film, as Norrin Rad, because there's variants. We already have 3 variants of Reed Richards with Pedro Pascal, John Krasinski, and since Chris Evans, Johnny Storm has been made canon. Obviously, the original Reed Richards from the Jessica Alba films. Obviously, he's out there somewhere. Whether we see him or not, we don't know. That's not important. But
they still didn't have to go with that female version at all. Like that was just trash.
They didn't.
They did not need to do that.
They really didn't.
But she's in the comics. I don't care.
Yeah,
she's in the comics too.
Ben, we had this convo. I don't know if you guys remember that almost a year and a half, 2 years ago, where I was devout that I was going to boycott the film if they made a Silver Surfer female. I don't know if you guys remember that conversation.
I don't know how y'all are excited for this. Like this movie, I'm going to watch bootleg. I am not watching. I'm not giving Disney any money.
It's a different universe. If they wanted to take it out, bring it in.
I don't care about the universe. Like they did not have to do this because this is part of. This is still part of MCU, and we still doing this female villain. So I'm not going to see this.
I don't know if she's going to go with Doom though. She's probably.
I don't think she is either. I think we're going to get Norrin Rad.
She's probably going to get her powers from the real Norman Rad, and then that guy he dies.
Well, no, it's his Shalabal. It's his wife. It's his wife. It's just in this variant, she said yes instead of him.
So
that's
feminist agenda. Like, geez.
But she dies though. She dies in the comic. She dies. Exactly. And Norrin Rad comes back in the Secret War, which is what is on the template. So if they have her for one film as this, and they give us Norrin Rad, my boy, and even the Fallen for the next 3 or 4 films,
Ross,
then I'll be good.
Exactly.
I agree with Jonah Level Fox's next comment after this
I'll
one
be
right
good
here.
with that. I don't like Ball being it there either. But
I mean, we're not saying that.
But at the same time, these are
amazing,
variants of
what
these
universe
characters.
you're in when you see them.
Yeah, they're variants of these characters, and this is taking place at which I believe is 1964, 1965. We'll never found it because I remember seeing in one thing when they're on down that Ed Sullivan type show, which came out in '64. It says celebrating 4 years of Fantastic Four, and so if it goes by what goes by what it is, I think it's going to be taking place in 64 or 65. They were starting in 61. They're in this world, they're already the Fantastic Four. That's why the world looks at them the way that they are. They already have their cars. They're looking at them on TV shows. If you look at even the landscapes of when it shows Sue, Ben Grimm, or even Johnny Storm flying over the Hudson, if you look at the backdrop, it's supposed to be the 60s. Look at the buildings. Look at the flying cars. Look at the bridges. Like, Reed Richards has influenced this world and has upgraded, enhanced their technology to a level we've never seen. And they are the only representation as far as a human defense. And that's why when Super says, are you the protectors of this world? Yes. There's no shield. Super Soldier Serum is out there. Captain America's still in the ice. There's no Avengers. There's no any of that. So they're the only thing. So long story short, I believe they will fail in this movie. I believe Galactus destroys the planet. Silver Surfer kind of helps a little bit and gets destroyed, whatever, but they fail. But they find a way because based off his big giant chalkboard, if you zoom into it, he gets a way to get to a new universe, a new multiverse using that, and then will help Earth 616 or the MCU universe, which is what 01999999999, all those nines, whatever they do. That's what I think that they're going to end up doing. But it looks like you guys are on the same page. They're going to fail this movie. Galactus wins. He will eat their planet because they even show at a certain
Thank you, Jonah
trailer.
Level Fox.
They even
Common
show
sense speaks.
whether it's like a flashback or a thought process. They show like the Fantastic Four Marvel 1 Alpha engine, their spaceship, flying towards an Earth that is being destroyed. You know what I mean? It's like blowing up and all that, and then the next scene they show Sue Storm looking like she's going into labor, which is, you know, canon. Franklin Richards is born in space, and then that's. I'm getting too far outside my point.
Well, look,
I think they're going to fail. Galactus.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how far they're gonna go with these variants, but if they go any deep into grabbing people out of the Earth X, you're gonna see the female variant of a lot of different characters.
And then Marvel is definitely going to be dead.
And guess what? That falls right in line with the MCU. Doctor Strange gets replaced with a woman. Luckily, Valkyrie is dead in 616. Who knows if they'll bring another one back?
That's going a little bit too far left field. They don't get me wrong.
Well, okay, but another question I had asked people in the Discord. I don't think you was paying attention, Bundle. Is there any chance that the Celestials could come back, or there could possibly be an incubated Celestial that's going to be hatched anytime soon?
I don't know
Probably
about
not.
Incubated Celestial.
Shang-Chi could possibly.
Shang-Chi can definitely come back. I don't think they'll do anything.
No, not saying him. I'm talking about in his, maybe in the culture of his presence in the film. Do you guys remember a history of any Celestial being hatched?
Not with Shang-Chi.
Not in Shang-Chi.
Not with Shang-Chi. No, not with him.
His stuff.
Not with him. It would be interesting to see the Celestials come back, but since this film is happening in an outside universe of our established MCU, this is not the Earth 1999 that we were talking about before. This is showing where they are in their universe in the 60s and how they failed to come to our universe and how they'll impact Doomsday, Secret Wars, and the MCU going forward.
That's what we're saying, Johnny.
That's what I firmly believe. But I don't think that we'll see
nice
what you...
You're a fool, Ross. Jonan said they'll probably give Fantastic Four the Black Lightning treatment and try and merge their universe with the MCU. Yes, that's what we're saying.
Yeah, that's exactly
what we're saying, bro.
That's
it's a whole different universe. Yes, exactly what's going to happen. That plot is already
you even
revealed.
look at it like everything.
That's almost stamped, brother.
Completely. Yeah, you look at it. It's like there's no way they can be who they are age-wise in the 60s and then just like fast forward and be like, oh, in the 2020, blah, blah, like, nah.
You can see them young and then get older, and then she's pregnant in that short amount of time with the children. So you're going to take those children and put them and move them over to with the current MCU universe too. It's going to be like
Just say, pay
you mean the MCU?
Again. When he looks at the
basically, it's about to be the MCU. You're about to see characters die, but it's going to be the most epic battles that we've probably seen on television.
They're going to fail. They're going to fail, but they're definitely going to create a wormhole that puts them further into it because that's what the bridge is. That's what Reed Richards is mostly known for. His biggest outside of Ultimate Nullifier, his piece of strength as the Maker. The biggest thing that he's known for is his time traveling and multiversal traveling of the bridge.
Artist man.
And they show that in the trailer. When you pause it at the very far right end, the second time they show that giant chalkboard he does, he's got it. It's like the bridge, whatever, X, Y, this, and the hexagon is made all around it, blah, blah. It's like y'all
what if he ends
up
not solving it completely, and then his wife ends up, oh no, you missed this equation. You got to add this and add X to this, and then boom, she solves it.
It might happen, but I definitely think they will lose.
Fans will accept it.
Dave TV said it's supposed to be a Wanda sighting.
I think our world will be destroyed, and they're
going
to travel to a new world of ours to be our like, hey, we know what's going to happen. Gone. Y'all need to do this. That's what I think. They're going to lose.
Yeah, I mean that's confirmed, bro.
Johnny may even die.
We're repeating ourselves at this point, Bundle.
But okay, all right, okay. So now, how will they lose? It's like 4 different ways. How are they gonna go? Going to the Doomsday. That's the very first film you're going into. So,
she's going to fulfill what the male Silver Surfer didn't do, and they're going to leave.
Okay, yeah, she will. But what will the Fantastic Four do? We
They're
know
gonna leave.
Galactus
She's
is
gonna
gonna
she's gonna
destroy.
take her ball in her stomach and the rest of the three with Mr.
I,
Fantastic and
Franklin is
leave that
gonna be
universe.
born in this film. I believe Franklin will be born in this film.
Yeah.
Franklin will be
She's gonna
born.
take the kids over.
Yeah,
And
he
look,
will be born.
and Doom's gonna pop up and grab all kind of characters he wants. I still think that what is that Game of Thrones kind of view that we see? There's probably gonna be a cut scene of them when that you kind of get what I'm talking about?
What if
Or my,
all these Fantastic Four die and Franklin is the only one that sent forward into the next universe and we get the variants of the Fantastic Four that we want? What if they
I
all
think
die?
we're gonna see it like Lord Emperor Doom and all that
Oh,
stuff.
well, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you.
They'll go the most basic route. I'm telling y'all.
I don't
Y'all
think
are
we're going to
getting
get
way
an
too
in-depth
excited.
explanation as we like necessarily want, but we'll probably just see
Probably
people pop
will.
up.
The villain will probably be
What I'm
defeated by
saying is
Pop No Jutsu.
it's not going to be like Star Wars where we're going to get 30 or 40 minutes of dialogue to explain to get to the final point of the battle. I think that it's just going to be a series
agree.
of events and background Easter egg stuff that it'll
I
take
agree,
like us
but
to pay
I
attention.
didn't think that we were gonna get God of Stories Loki at the end of the multiverse, and that's exactly what we ended up getting. Because I remember when we
I
were
think we're going to
covering
get the
that,
product. I
I
was just
said
saying
that
they're not
like
going to
4
verbatim
episodes in. I
say
don't
all
think
this
we'll
stuff.
get this
of him.
version of him, and then we ended up getting that exact version of Loki. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm not
Even
denying
though,
it. I'm just saying
even
it's not gonna
though
say it
it
verbatim.
was a terrible show, Agatha Harkness. I know you didn't watch it. I didn't care for it either. I barely watched it, but I did get the overall synopsis. But I did think in my head, it's like, if they introduce Wiccan and Lady Death,
That's
they
what
can
the chick at
have
the comic
somewhere
book store
to
was
go.
telling
And
me
the
about
it's
on
like
Wednesday.
you have a future with this story if you do those two right. Don't care about Agatha, but they did establish Wiccan and they did establish who Lady Death is, and she's still out there. Like they can still
They
use
established
her.
Lady Death.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
Agatha's
they
girlfriend.
established her last minute.
They established her
She
last
wasn't.
minute,
She
but
wasn't
That
even
is
actually
the
supposed to be in the
meanest,
show. They did that
most
last minute to
overly
get views.
obsessed woman in the Marvel universe.
so I'm
She should have
saying,
been
and
in
they put it
Infinity
in one of
War.
the worst
Definitely
shows.
should have.
Period.
But people would have
It's
been disappointed.
terrible.
All those Thanos dreams and memes of how powerful he was would have all went away.
But I'll show you. I'll send you, like, me or SJ. We'll send you the little scene in the end at the end of Agatha, because we both know you're not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna watch it.
Yeah,
But I know what happened.
You know, Bundle
Feel
gonna
My
watch
Brain.
it.
So.
Hey, he roasted me. He's
Magic
roasted
is going to be involved somewhere
He
in the
gonna watch
MCU
it.
equation. Oh yeah, Magic is probably going to show up again. It might be post Secret Wars.
Yeah, they need
There's
to
no
do that,
there's no hints or anything of Magic showing up at all right now. It's possible.
what was that movie
but
called?
We'll see.
that she was
New
in
Mutants.
with Olga.
Yeah,
New
she was
Mutants.
in
There it goes.
Which
That
was
got
terrible.
severely underrated, but it was at the simultaneously it wasn't a good
Her
movie.
fight scene, she
But
saved
that's what I'm
that
saying.
film to
They
being decent.
did have
No, she didn't save the film.
moments.
Like her scenes were good, but the film was absolute trash. It was
Yeah, the
boring.
film-
The main
the
character
film was
was
butt
this
cheeks.
female. I think her name
She
was
was the
Danny
highlight. I
Starr
was just
from
trying to
the
say.
Marvel comics. She was terrible.
And they wanted
She got
Macy
switched
Williams,
from the comics.
like popularity from Game of Thrones. Macy Williams, like the Wolf. What's her name?
She was
uh,
terrible, and they adapted
was
her terribly
horrible.
too.
They
She's
made her
supposed to be
horrible.
an actual werewolf, but they just made
Yeah,
her just a
made her
regular dyke
terrible.
girl that happens to just have wolf
Cursed.
senses. She's a dyke, like terrible character. They had the one character off of Stranger Things. His character was kind of cool, but they just made him into like
I
he
know
kind
what
of
you
looked
meant.
like he was on drugs, basically. But yeah,
Kinda
that movie
good,
was
kinda
terrible. So I don't see
The
them
Bear-
doing anything
The
with those
bear was the
characters
best
right
thing
now.
about it.
But
The
okay,
Bear
Because
was
it was
the
kind of
best
like
about it.
well, let me get my point across first, real quick.
Oh, my bad.
It was kind of like the New Mutant situation was basically the final dump offs from Fox's movies before Disney brought them out. So I can't see Disney going out of their way to be like, oh well, let's bring these characters back too.
no, just
Even
Magic.
despite the fact that Magic's popular and Marvel's rivals and things like that, she might just be mentioned or have a cameo, but they're not going to just go out of their way to bring back all of those New Mutant characters for a
No,
project.
you're right.
I don't
Yeah,
think
you're
it's
right.
gonna be all of them. I don't think it's gonna be all of them.
Yeah, you're right. 100%. Yeah, you're right.
I agree. Yeah, I don't.
As much as I would like it, because go look on my gaming channel and all that stuff. Like Magic, that's my girl right there on Marvel
That is
Rivals.
girl. You
Oh
know
yeah,
about
yeah. I told you I got
Liana
our first
Rasputin is
issue
his
of her own
girl.
miniseries. Man, I'm getting my Magic collection up.
Hey, Matt. Hey, would you take her last name, or would she have to take yours?
No, she got to take mine. I don't do females. Me taking the female last name. She got to take mine.
Hey, she use
That's
magic.
not what the MCU would want.
Hey, I was about to say that. I was literally about to say that. It's not the MCU.
All right,
would
hey,
say.
hey
That's
guys,
hilarious.
I do want to tell you guys. All right, look. So now that this Daredevil series is over with, I'm pretty sure in the next couple of weeks we're going to get some Marvel news. So perhaps we try and organize some like just general Marvel discussions and possibilities, kind of like how we did this ending half of this stream.
Oh,
Well, I'm gonna do
You
an
guys are down?
overall
Ooh, I
season
got a
review.
lot.
Just
I have a lot.
I just want to throw that out there. So when we do have that stream, we're all personally taking time and getting
I'll
our,
text it to you.
we're personally getting our assumptions together, our own theories, our own conspiracies, and gather them up for a decent little combo.
I got it.
Yeah,
I know
I'm
exactly
definitely gonna
what you're
be
looking
doing
for.
my video on the full season review of Daredevil Born Again, because I only did a couple of videos because I kind of was like, you know what, I'll just wait. So now that all the episodes are out, that's coming soon.
Okay.
Let me know when you drop that so I can put the like on it.
Yeah.
Will do.
Yeah. But no, but Jeff, you saying that, dog, I got a bullet point list. I'm glad you said that. I'll send it to you.
Yeah. Cause it is late for me, guys. I am about to
Yep,
wrap
I
up
get
the
it.
stream.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
nothing to
Yeah,
go to
yeah.
sleep.
Anything y'all want to end this stream with? Any statements?
Solid series. 8 out of 10. Hopefully they can pick it back up. All gripes and negative outlooks are understandable. But I think this is if they can go ahead and keep this going forward, we might get the MCU back. We might get it back to some degree. We're not going to get back to prime greatness of 2008 to 2019, but we might be able to salvage some type of greatness. We'll see.
All right. Who's going
My
next?
final thoughts is that women are better than men. They should all tell us what to do, and we are incompetent, and no violence and no masculinity.
Ugh. So this show, so it wasn't as bad as people try to make it out to be, but it's not amazing as certain folks are trying to still clap and give it. I'd say it's probably like a 7 out of 10. It's better than any of the other Disney Plus shows, but that's not saying much because they were all completely terrible. Most of them being about side characters instead of the actual titular character it's about. So that's the main reason why this show is at least better than those shows. They have strong performances from Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio and what's his name?
John Bernthal.
John Bernthal. But again, most people are just accepting this and failing to see what's really going on in front of them. And good performances can't save bad writing. Not necessarily bad writing, but mediocre to mid writing.
Solid take. Yeah, solid take. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got it about at a 7 out of 10 for me. But it could be, I don't know, it could be
The
adjustable.
Netflix shows, those were 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, Netflix ones are better.
I'm gonna call it Kevin Samuels. It's an adjustable 7 depending on what they do with the future. Because if there's any inclinations, if there's any inclinations of what we've seen in this season that can set up something in the MCU, I'll be like, okay, I get it. It's an adjustable 7.
Hey, man, you get points.
One of y'all said that they continue with what they're going with. I think if they keep the similar pacing and tone like they did with like at least this finale episode and maybe first episode, don't give us any more crap episodes like that Kamala Khan bank heist episode. And this also kind of further proves my point because I think you made a short about this, which makes one of us look like a fool. They were like, oh, well, that episode was better than this other episode. Actually, no, it's not, because now that we see the swordsman is in prison with Wilson Fisk, like he was more relevant than Kamala Khan's dad sitting there
Yeah.
advertising for Funko
Yeah,
Pops.
you're right.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
oh,
it
look at
was.
my daughter, how amazing she is. Funko Pop, Funko
Yeah.
Pop.
You're right. That was Mal that was really
I think
defending
that
that bank
wow, 100%
episode when we
right.
had that
Yeah.
stream. Just remember that. SSJ.
I know. Oh yeah, I
I
know.
That speaks more to
Don't
the
put us in
rewrite.
that category.
That speaks more to the rewrite. That wasn't a bad episode, but it didn't help. It didn't.
It was
push-
terrible.
It didn't really progress anything. But I mean, it was. I
To me, the
enjoyed it.
funniest thing about that episode were those Irish robbers because
Yeah.
I could not take them serious because you don't usually see people that are Irish go and rob banks because they're usually drunk. So it's not,
On
you know,
Patty's
it's
Day?
weird.
That's why they robbed it.
You know, so it's kind of weird. It's just like I can't take you guys serious. They're like, put your hands on the effing ground. No, I'm looking for
It's
the
like-
bank manager, and
it's
we
like
have
looking for-
a blind guy right here, and now do we have a deaf one? Where is the bank manager? It's just like, nah, this ain't working.
I liked it, but I understand.
All right. Well,
It'd be
guys,
funny if like you had a whole bunch of black people trying to rob a bank on MLK Day.
appreciate everybody for watching. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Jave. Thank you, Upward. Thank you, Jonah Level Fox, also for hanging out with us tonight. And anybody else that's watching the stream, don't mind giving us you guys' thoughts. If you guys have any conspiracy theories or any universes that could be included to make the MCU more interesting or any directions, let us know in the comment section. I'm Jay Leno, and I'm out.
Peace.
You all take care and be safe. Great stream. Awesome people.